Welcome back to Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome back to the Ginetta G40 GT5. That's too many G's in this name. We had a good race one, didn't we? With Simon Allen winning it from Diogo Silva here at Oulton Park International. Not sure how much international racing actually takes place here. Nevertheless, it is a nice circuit and we are going to see another good race in the making. Here is qualifying Diogo Silva again on pole, followed by Simon Allen and Darren Head, Kev Allen, Stuart Brand, Dale Taylor, Scott Davely and Mike Langley. We have 11 drivers in this race. And here is the start, and a good start by Diogo Silva, and a carbon copy of the first race with Diogo Silva moving into the inside and trying to hold. Now there's contact between these two drivers, and this is, and now Simon Allen returns the favor with a little bit of a nudge. Someone has spun in the background, couldn't quite see who it was. It was Chris Winstanley, I think, the red car. And here is, and now there's Scott Davely, and I believe it's Dale Taylor, both into the barriers. So we definitely saw more action than in race one, certainly between the two leaders. Look at this, Simon Allen is on the outside and he's going to go for the lead. Yes, he is the new leader. New leader Simon Allen is definitely again showing who's the boss after that pushing and shoving in the first corner. Simon Allen has actually taken the lead again in the same place where these two drivers battled so fiercely for the lead in race one. Darren Head is trying to surprise now Diogo Silva. He's certainly faster at the exit of the chicane. Here comes Darren Head now on the inside. Now Diogo Silva protects the inside and he's going to go on the outside. And this is tight. But Diogo Silva, I think, is going to defend the position and remain in second place. Look at this. Kev Allen also wants a piece of that action, and this Ginetta's GT5 looked great in this chase camera indeed. And Diogo Silva, not the greatest of starts. He did maintain the lead at the start, but now he's struggling a little bit already. 1.5 seconds after losing the lead to Simon Allen, and he certainly wants a little bit more pace. Now he's going to go defensive again, and here comes now Darren Head on the inside into the last corner. Darren Head is going to go into second place. Yes, I think he's got the job done, and Diogo gives him space, tries to go side by side, and here comes Kev Allen as well. Now it's a three-way battle at the start-finish line, and who's going to get ahead between these three drivers? This is like three wide into the first corner. Who's going to do? Diogo Silva on the outside, Darren Head is in the middle, and look at this, Darren Head has actually taken the spot, and so has now slight tangle between Kev Allen and Diogo Silva, and Kev Allen ends up spinning. Can he avoid contact? And this was just too many cars and too little space there in turn one. Stuart Brand also making a move there and going into second place. That was Darren Head. Diogo Silva has actually lost a place to Stuart Brand as well, and now here comes Kev Allen and they touch again. No, that's Jumbo, sorry, that's also a yellow car. Where is Kev Allen? And Jumbo is going to go on the inside, and I think he's going to go into fourth place now. Diogo Silva losing one place after the other, but what has happened to Kev Allen? He's dropped to ninth after that contact between the two drivers in turn one, and that was just a three-wide situation, and Diogo was on the outer side. Darren Head went ahead. Kev Allen was on the inside, and I think they just met somewhere at the exit of the corner. Look at this, Darren Head now on the inside. Nice move there, getting back into second place. Stuart Brand in third, and Diogo Silva trying to see if he can take advantage of that slight tangle between Darren Head and Stuart Brand to get into one position. Look at this, now they're going to go again side by side. Now Darren Head actually makes a mistake and goes into the grass, and here comes Stuart Brand back into second place. Darren Head and Darren Head hits Diogo on the back. Diogo Silva lost a little bit of time, but not a position, and certainly again there's like too little space and too many cars. Jumbo, that was behind these drivers, now getting overtaken by Dale Taylor, and this is excellent action now at the end of the second lap, because as you can see, when two drivers battle and if they tangle, or if one of them loses a little bit of time, you've got basically just a queue of drivers behind, trying to get past left, right and center, and that's exactly what we want to see in Old Folks Racing. Mike Langley in 8th place trying to defend from Kev Allen, and again recovering Kev Allen. He's recovered to 5th in race one. Now he's trying to recover. This is not a great overtaking point here on the outside, but I think he's going to make it work. Yes. Can he avoid the penalty though? I think Kev Allen may not be able to avoid the penalty. Crispin Stanley is ahead of him in 7th place, and this is after spinning in lap 1. I believe that's quite a feat to still be in 2nd place. Jumbo is behind Frankie. That was not Del Taylor, sorry, that was Frankie in 5th. Del Taylor is in 11th. Sorry to keep mixing the two, but it was definitely Frankie that is behind Darren Head. Darren Head was in 2nd place at some point, but he's lost the position by his own mistake. Oh, and now Frankie getting hit by, oh dear, and this is a little bit tricky there. Jumbo didn't quite brake on time, ended up losing more time than Frankie, but Frankie may have gotten a penalty out of that because this race director doesn't really look at circumstances. He just looks at who has been cutting corners, who has been off track limits. Doesn't really matter what has triggered this, because we also understand from prior contact Diogo Silva has actually a 1 second penalty for that incident with Darren Head. That basically Darren bumped him into the grass, but that was a corner cut according to the race director. So Diogo Silva, not only he's lost a few places, but he's also now has to recover time, and now he's trying to recover time, and the Stuart Brand gives him space in turn 1. They go side by side, but now Stewart has the line into the next corner. This is excellent stuff, and these two drivers really are behaving. But Stuart Brand, how much longer can he put Diogo Silva behind him? Darren Head probably is taking advantage of this. We can't quite see him on the chase camera, but I'm sure that these little sort of like side by sides, these just make drivers lose precious tenths of a second. Diogo Silva not quite able to make a move on Stuart Brandon. Certainly must start to be looking in his mirrors, because there must be the machine of the Ginetta G40, sorry, of Darren Head. Kev Allen is up to 5th place, which means that Frankie lost that position. In fact, he's down into 9th. Jumbo is up to 6th. Scott Davely is in 7th. Crispin Stanley continues a very good race start with 8th. And this is the key battle at the moment. And yeah, just in case you wanted to know, Simon Allen is absolutely obliterating the opposition right now. He's open a gap of 6 seconds, and we are at the end of lap 4. And Stewart is here leading a train of himself, Diogo Silva, Darren Head, Kev Allen, and Diogo is now going to make a move into the last corner. I think he's got enough space to make it stick. I think Stewart is going to give him space. Yes, Diogo Silva is up into 2nd place, and look at that, Darren Head is already eyeing the 3rd place of Stuart Brand there now as they finished race 1, basically with the difference that Darren Head is in 4th and actually very, very close to 3rd place. And what is this? This is a replay of something that has happened with Kev Allen. He's behind Jumbo, and let's see what that was. I believe this is how Frankie lost a few places. Let's see, Jumbo is on the inside of the last corner. Kev Allen is going to try to follow him, but not quite able to do so, and ends up hitting. Oh, and something has happened to Jumbo, because he slowed down, possibly to avoid the penalty. So I wonder what has happened to Frankie, because still this does not explain how he has lost so many positions. Let's continue to follow this replay to see if anything else happened. Oh yes, he's run wide there. He's run wide, and that's a very common mistake there. You don't really have gravel as such in this circuit in most places, but you do have grass to slow you down, and that's how Frankie went back into 9th place and now into 10th spot. Sorry. Scott Davely is trying to pass Jumbo, and successful in doing so. So slowly but surely, consistent Scott is climbing up the leaderboard, now in 6th place. And with all the action that we are seeing right here between Diogo Silva, Stuart Brand, and Darren Head, I would not be surprised. Look at this Darren Head now trying a little bit of an impossible move there. He wasn't really side by side, and has gotten out of it as he should. Diogo Silva has lost time now at the exit of the next corner, and Stuart Brand is really now completely behind him, but loses time in this chicane. Look at this, Darren Head is almost going through Stewart's black car there, and Absolutely brilliant battle for second place, but again Diogo Silva on the back foot. Simon Allen is going to make it 5 in a row if it ended right now. This is Jumbo. Ooh, Jumbo running wide there, and there's a big barrier. We didn't quite see the end of that, but we did see the Jumbo. Oh, and someone is gone, and that's Mike Langley as well. Exactly in the same circumstance, and Dale Taylor losing time left, right, and center. Jumbo actually lost a lot of time. We didn't see the end of that, but there was something solid coming in his pathway, and I believe he might have hit that, and that takes a little bit of time to recover. Jumbo is down into 11th place. Mike Langley down in 10th for the same reason, exactly going out at the same point. Look at this now. Frankie is on the inside of Chris Winstanley, and that is a good move indeed. Ooh, side contact between the two, side by side. People giving space. Look at this. Actually, Mike Langley absolutely has nowhere to go, but now actually makes a good move. Oh, and he hits Frankie. They got together. They absolutely got together and went the two Americans into. Oh, that wasn't. Was this Mike Langley and Frankie? I believe there was Frankie there involved, and the other driver may have been Mike Langley or Chris Winstanley. Actually, no, it was Chris Winstanley involved in that crash because he's down into 11th. I'm sorry that I couldn't quite see who was involved in that incident because we were following Dale Taylor's chase camera, but couldn't quite figure out who the other drivers were. But I believe there were Frankie and possibly Chris Winstanley there because Chris is now in last. Well, now actually Mike Langley is in last. Something has happened to Mike again. Copper Knob 75. What a season this has been so far. We are only in the third round. This is the 6th race, but Simon Allen is in excellent position to win 5 races in a row. He did not win the opening race of the season in Road America, but then he won the 2nd race. Then he won 2 races in Sequito, 1 race in Oulton Park, and now he's leading with 7.5 seconds at the midpoint. Surely that's game over unless Simon makes a mistake, and this has happened in the past, although he seems to have gained very good form in this summer championship. Absolutely zero mistakes, zero tolerance for mistakes by Simon Allen. Let's recap how things are going here in the battle for second place. Remember that Diogo Silva still has a 1 second penalty, so he's actually not in second place technically. He needs to open the gap and leave Stuart Brand behind, and that hasn't really happened so far. Darren Head has also lost a little bit of time, so he's not really at the moment challenging for the podium. Kev Allen has also lost a couple of seconds behind Darren, so certainly everyone seems to have calmed down in this department over here that is ultimately battling for second place in this race. And Diogo Silva really needs to open the gap, otherwise he's not going to finish in second place. Stuart Brand is probably relying on staying very, very close to Diogo for the remainder of this race. The problem is that we still have 6 laps to go right now. Frankie there now in 8th place because Jumbo has had a problem, and these drivers in the second department, they really have been yo-yoing between 7th and 11th. I think pretty much everyone was in every single position at one point in time. Chris Winstanley there doing a good job in the first part of this race, then got involved in an incident. He of course was involved in the bizarre incident in race 1 where he just took off in a strange decision by the game's physics engine. Let's see if there is any repeat of such incidents. Simon Allen now completely controlling the gap. Stuart Brand lost a little bit of time to Diogo Silva, but I think he's still technically in second place. Let's really follow this gap because that's quite big. There he is, Stuart Brand in that number 37 car, and Darren Head actually has lost a lot of time. He's lost 4 seconds. He is not really challenging for the podium here. Darren, in his first appearance in the Old Folks Racing PlayStation this season, the summer season, of course, having missed the first 2 rounds, the first 4 races which essentially become the rounds that he's going to drop this season. So he needs every single point that he can score in order to try to challenge for the championship. Of course, the dynamics of holidays and other family commitments are going to be particularly important in this summer championship. We're already seeing a few drivers miss rounds, and that's certainly set to continue as we go into August. Certainly we should keep an eye on that as well, because that could be critical for the final standing. Scott Davely, what has happened to him? He's in 6th place and he's being consistent. Scott again, he's not far behind Kev Allen, who in turn is not far behind Darren Head. So Scott actually has a chance to redeem himself from that mistake in race 1 that cost him a podium. Ended up finishing in 6th place. Owen Kev Allen has had not the ideal line there through the chicane, really, and here comes Scott now on the outside, but he certainly is coming with a lot of momentum, and that's Scott Davely up into 5th place. Thank you very much. Here comes the American driver. He is going to challenge Darren Head for 4th. He's a little bit too far behind Stewart to challenge for 3rd, but we will keep an eye on this battle for sure, as the race still has a few laps to go. Gap at the front is 5.5 seconds. Diogo Silva is trying his best, everything he has, and does not have to try to not let Simon Allen run away with this victory. And he seems to be reducing the gap, but I suspect this is just Simon Allen managing the gap. He of course chose this combo, so that has been a while, I believe, since someone chose a combo and won both races. I would have to check my statistics. That of course should happen very often indeed, if someone chooses a combo of their liking, or at least that a certain driver outperforms his average position. And look at this, and a driver that is now outperforming Scott Davely is Kev Allen, who has got into the inside of what is basically turn 2 to go back into 5th position. So nice move there by the Ginetta, the yellow and black Ginetta of Kev Allen. But I suspect this battle has not ended here, and yes, I am a very good Sherlock Holmes investigator indeed, because this battle has not ended, and they seem to go on and on with it, and I suspect they go on and on with it for the remaining 3 laps of this race, as Kev Allen trying to have a better season than last season. He finished 5th. He of course qualified 2nd for the first race, and then had to make a recovery. Now his 2nd race is a little bit more stable, although he is still in the same position as he finished race 1. What is this action? That's Jumbo, who is in 9th place, chasing Frankie, who is in 8th place. So that's a battle for 8th place. In 7th we've got Dale Taylor. Dale doing a good job there with another strong finish. 10th is Chris Winstelli, and Mike Langley has actually dropped to 11th. I'm not sure if he was 11th the last time I noticed. Oh, look at this. This is not a great overtaking spot here, but Jumbo thought it was, as they go nose to tail into the final corner, and Frankie is going to go defensive there into the last corner, which is often a bad idea because it puts you in a bad position at the exit, and that's what Jumbo is counting on. Yes, he is counting on, and he's lagging a little bit, but he's definitely trying to make a move into third one. Didn't quite work this time round, but this was just a warning, I believe, that I'm here and I think I can overtake you. Oh, look at this, Frankie now running wide in turn 1, and I believe that's penalty territory over there, written all over the place. So if he does not let Jumbo through, he's certainly going to get the penalty, but he does let him through by running wide again. So Jumbo up into 8th place. That was a good move indeed. That was good pressure by Jumbo, trying to force Frankie into a mistake that eventually happened. Scott Davely is back in the charge, and that's of course battling with Kev Allen for 5th place. Still a bit of a gap between these two drivers, but definitely it's not over, even if we are now on lap 10. Let's see, the gap at the front has increased again. It's 5.8 seconds, so Simon Allen was definitely controlling the gap. It's no longer 7 seconds, but he is on his way to his 5th consecutive victory and also his 5th victory of the season. What a result this has been for Simon Allen. Surely he's now the favorite after 6 races out of 20 to get this championship, but of course a long way to go, and critical. And that someone has spun that. That's Kev Allen. Kev Allen spinning, and Scott Davely knows what's coming, and certainly did his best to move out of the way of the spinning Kev Allen. Of course, you should always be attentive with every device you have, every eye, every ear, every nose when you are behind Kev Allen, because you never know what's gonna happen, and it usually happens, even things that you thought they wouldn't happen. And in this case, this was Kev Allen running wide in the last corner and then spinning into the inside and coming back to the outside to the track. So Scott Davely up to 5th, and I think now actually Kev Allen, despite pressing the reset button, and look at this, Frankie now is a bit of a slalom there, and now hitting the barriers, so that's a disaster for Frankie. Let's see where Mike Langley and Chris Winstanley are. He may lose more positions, but that was a beautiful slalom there through the boards, the publicity boards of this circuit. Darren Head actually now has found a lot of time and is really very, very close indeed to Stewart. Brent Stewart has lost time. He certainly has lost second place a while ago. He's 4 seconds behind Diogo, and Diogo only has 1 second of penalty. So Diogo Silva is now firmly into second place territory again. Simon Allen is stable in the lead as we enter the last lap of this race. Darren Head has not given up on the podium though. Let's see how this is going to develop, because we still have a battle for the last place of the podium. Here's the race leader. What a season has it been for Simon Allen. Diogo Silva is now just 4.9 seconds, but it's a little bit late now. Only 1 lap to go. Stuart Brand in 3rd place, and just a few more corners to go. Always very tempting to take the shortcut there on the right. I'm not entirely certain what is the penalty for that, but surely has to be a pretty good penalty, because you avoid more than half of the circuit by taking that shortcut over there. Simon Allen, a few more corners to go. Now he's just trying to hold into that lead, not making any mistake through the 2 chicanes. This is the first one. Absolutely beautiful line through the chicane, and getting into the 2nd chicane very, very soon. Darren Head, I think it's a little bit late for him as well, but he's trying as hard as he can to try to make a move, maybe in the last corner. This is not over, because Darren Head has a few more corners to put himself into position, and then maybe, just maybe, plunge into the last corner and try to get that 3rd place from Stuart Brandon. And now he spins into the gravel. I said this circuit has no gravel, but there is gravel there. He presses the reset button. The question is he going to lose any position? Yes, here comes Scott Davely, and I think Scott is up into 4th, or is he? Yes, he is. We can see that on the leaderboard. Simon Allen, this time round, is going to win the race on the road and on the leaderboard. Absolutely brilliant, dominant performance by Simon Allen that takes his 5th win of the season, 5th consecutive win. Diogo Silva, 5th consecutive 2nd place, and again beaten by Simon. He certainly needs to up his game in the coming rounds if he wants to have a say in this championship. And look at this, Scott Davely is going to finish 4th. Stuart Brand, another podium, nicely done by Stuart in this combo. Very, very competitive drives indeed. Darren Head, can't believe it, he lost the 4th position. He was hoping for a podium, ended up with a 5th. 6th was Kev Allen, 7th Dale Taylor, 8th is going to be Jumbo. Chris Winstanley is up into 9th. That was a good recovery by Chris into a top 10 position. Nicely done there. 9th place for Chris Winstanley. That's a very nicely run race indeed. And here he comes to take the checkered flag. of this race. 10th is going to be Mike Langley, and 11th is going to be Frankie. As expected, we had lots of good racing, but in the end, there was a man that dominated the whole thing, and that man was Simon Allen. Can anyone stop Simon Allen in this summer championship? That's the key question that all the drivers are doing now. Look at this, Frankie now, even if he's in last place, he runs wide in the last corner, but recovers, and he's going to take the checkered flag as the last finisher of this race. Nice combo. There is the checkered flag. Race 2, Simon Allen, the winner. This has been a great race. See you next week for more Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Stay tuned.